Yo, what is going on, my magic knights? It is your boy Lota here, back with another Black Clover mobile video, and in today's video we are going to be talking about which SRs are useful, which ones you should build day one, and which ones are just not worth it. Now, as per usual, before I get into the video, if you guys find any of my content helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. It tells me what I should be doing. Also, Global is coming out in 3 days as I'm uploading this video, so make sure prepare for that. I'll be uploading 3 more character guides before I upload the final pre-global video, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Now, obviously, before I get all the way in, something I'd like to say is, if you guys would like to come and join my global guild, there's a Discord link down below. Join that server, and then on the day global drops, and when I go live on YouTube for the first ever global stream, I will be accepting people from that Discord into my Black Clover guild, so come on by. With that being said, let's get into the video. Now, I'm gonna be going in no particular order, I guess. I'll go in the ones that I find that I already have built the most, and then I'll go over some of the lesser ones that I don't have built. Off rip, we're gonna be talking about our boy Finral. Now, the reason why we're gonna cover Finral is because I saw someone's comment earlier, and I was going back and forth with them in the comment section about Finral and Valtos, so we're gonna cover those 2 units first. So Finral is a supporter with about 124 speed. Now, his ult gives increased speed, debuff removal, and increased crit rate, and his skill 2 is going to give you a increased attack buff, damage dealt, increased mobility. Now, something I'd like to point out real quick is, I made a video on talking about how William is the fastest unit and Black Clover Mobile Global, and someone tried to say that Finral and Valtos can outspeed William, and so I'm just going to quickly cover that hypothesis. So, if William is max stars, no. As you guys can see, I have a 4-star William. So my William is actually slower than my max star Valtos and Finral. So in my case, yes, they can outspeed my William. But what he wasn't understanding, and what you guys need to understand, is that here in how Black Clover Mobile works with the speed thing is it's a base stat. No gear will give you any speed outside of a 4-piece enhanced speed set. Now, if I took my enhanced speed off, William's speed would go down a little bit, but as you can see here, it is a base stat thing. The 2-piece is a speed buff at the start of a wave, but it's a percentage of speed. It's not a guaranteed speed increase, it's just a percentage. Then you have the +5 speed here. Now, what you guys have to understand about the speed in this game is that, off rip, if I had my William at max stars, it would be 126. That is 2 base speed higher than Finral and Valtos. Alongside that, I could get another speed by doing all of my support talents. Then in the middle, I could use a speed stone to give me an extra bit of speed. Now, Finral, Valtos, and William all run speed gear, so he quite literally cannot be beaten at max dupe, no matter what conditions. Max dupe William will always outspeed Finral and Valtos. Even with speed gear, even with max dupe Finral and Valtos, max dupe William clears them off. So I hope that clears up the, unbeatable speed part for William. Now, as I said, Finral is going to be buffing your attack, and our boy Valtos over here is going to be buffing your magic attack. Now, he's also going to be buffing your accuracy, and he's going to be giving you increased mobility on his ult. So as I stated, mobility is about how fast you get up to the plate, not when you start at the plate. So when you start at the plate, whoever has the higher speed there goes first, and that's in that order. Mobility is like to reset your turn to get back up. That's how mobility works. So, off rip, Valtos' card's gonna be the one that you use, obviously. It's pretty obvious. Finral's card actually works fine for Valtos also to an extent, but obviously we recommend his because of the passives. Finral's card does quite literally almost the same thing, except that it's an increased mobility when using the buff, and this is when using his ult. So for Finral, same thing, use his own card. Now, the dupes are worth it, as I talked about in the last video. I'm not going to be going over too many dupes in this. I'll be going over only the worthwhile dupes, as I usually don't have too many SR dupes. Now, so your first two extremely good SRs are just going to be Finral and Valtos. They are quite literally like, they're like unbeatable in PvP. In PvE, you won't be using Valtos, you will be using Finral. At the end of the video, I will pull up a tier list for PvP and PvE so you guys can see how SRs look in that way. Now, we're going to be talking about our girl up here, Nebra. Now, Nebra is an interesting one. In PvP, or not PvP, in PvE, she's actually extremely good. She's extremely useful unit in PvE, being a green SRD buffer. Now, she's kind of like a little mini William with her skill 2. Now, her skill 1 is going to just be reduced magic attack. Pretty simple. Her skill 2 is going to be a transform like William and reduce defense on a single target. And then her ult is going to be a clone thing. So how this works is this right here. It summons 2 clones to deal damage equal to 35% of attack and magic attack to an enemy upon using missed bullets. So that means that when we use her basic attack, it will kind of hit more. It's one of those like attacks you have to build around. So you ult, you get your clones that deal more damage, and then use missed bullets, and then those clones will back up your missed bullet damage. He's also a character that you build into attack and both magic attack, so you don't roll too far into one that you roll into both of them, because that's how she works. She's an extremely good unit, despite me having her level 1, just never got the time to getting her. She's extremely useful though. Her card gives a buff, inflicts buff immunity on an enemy, and then she has an increased defense remove when attacking. So extremely good unit. Her dupes give her nothing too wild. It's just favor damage dealt, but she's already extremely good unit by herself, so don't worry too much about that. Now, next extremely good PvE unit we are going to be talking about is our boy Defender Asta. Now obviously we start the game with this Asta, so everyone should have him off rip. He is extremely good Asta. Actually, I've seen him be used in PvP too, at max due to his kit. Now, his first attack is going to be his downward strike, which removes any debuffs he has on him, and it gives increased defense. So he's basically a cleanse. He has like his own personal self cleanse, and the more he has debuffs on him, the more his defense is increased after using the attack. Now, for his skill 2, you have a full AoE, and how this works is that you can inflict a stun for an enemy if they are incapacitated. It's a 30% chance. Obviously it's a little bit higher, so I'd say about 50% when you level 4 it, but he has a 50% chance to stun if there's a incapacitate on an enemy, and this is a AoE hitting attack. Also removes all buffs. Now his ult is going to be a taunt, which is going to give him a defense state, and also it's going to my bad. Taunts, and it's going to give you the defense state, which reduces damage taken by 50%. That's what I meant to say. Now, extremely good unit. His dupes give you HP recovery. Obviously, I recommend just duping your SRs. No reason in particular. I feel like the last few SRs I'll talk about aren't worth duping, but everyone else is worth duping. Now, next we're going to be going over our red Mimosa. Now, this Mimosa should be given to you for free as well, for pre-registering for Global. So you guys should get a free Mimosa. And she's actually an extremely strong character. I'm using her right now for my red team. So, her ult is going to be a ally heal. So this is going to heal all your allies. And this is going to grant 10% max HP as HP recovery to an ally whose HP is equal to or less than 50%. And as you buff this, it's just going to give you more HP. Her skill 2 is going to be a single target heal. It's going to give barrier, continuous damage removal, and HP recovery. So heal, removes DOT, and gives a little shield. And then her basic attack is just going to be an HP recovery. Extremely useful unit. Her dupes are going to give her some speed percentages, but outside of that, nothing too crazy. Next unit that we also get for free, as you guys are starting to see, a lot of these good SR units are for free. Going to be our girl, Noelle. You will get her for the first chapter of the game. They'll give you a free Noelle once you join the Black Bulls. So you will get a free Noelle, and she's going to be a red support, and instead of buffing, she's actually going to do a lot more shielding. So her ult's going to create a barrier, and it's going to give you guys increased defense. So this is extremely good character for just stalling and, you know, letting, like, shielding your damage dealers, so you don't have to bring a healer. Her one is going to be, her skill 2, my bad. Her skill 2 is going to be a one-person shield, and then her ult's going to be a full team shield. Now, her basic attack is just going to give you some increased defense, and that's about all. Outside of this, she's an extremely good unit nonetheless for PvE, due to the fact that she gets reduced damage taken when attacked, and she gets a full team shield. She's kind of like an SR Radies, basically, so an extremely accessible unit. And also, she's well in her own little event that comes at the beginning. Now, our next unit we're going to be talking about is our girl, Vanessa. Now, Vanessa is an extremely strong unit right alongside Noelle due to the fact that she is a green support. Now, with Vanessa, you're going to be getting a lot of defense buffs. Her ult's going to give you Blessing of Protection, which grants 8% of max HP as HP recovery when damage resistance is triggered against an enemy's attack. She also gives you total defense, which reduces all damage taken. Now, her skill 2 is going to give you defense increase, DOT removal, and endurance. And then her basic attack is just going to give increased accuracy to your highest damage dealer. Extremely useful unit. Her dupes are going to give you 20% chance to remove one debuff, and that's just going to help her clear. Now, the next few units are going to be extremely mono blue based. So we have our girl Charmy. Now, as you can see, I use the shit out of her, and for good reason. Charmy is going to be your mono blue healer. She is probably the strongest healer you will have outside of Red Mimosa. I was using Charmy up until I got a different Charmy, which is going to be in Season 3 or Season 2, when you guys will get the swimsuit Charmy. But this Charmy right here gives a shit ton of healing. She's also going to be your mono blue healer, and I've healed greatly around like 40-50k with Charmy, so she's an extremely strong healer, and her heals actually come from her skill 2, so you'll be able to heal a lot more consistently compared to it being an alt heal. Fortunately, it only heals one ally, but the rest of your mono blue units will be covering her anyways. Alongside that, you're going to have her basic attack, which heals some recovery and an extra attack. Now, skill cards, and I just want to point this out real quick, if you guys haven't realized, I'm not going to be going over skill cards too much, because for SRs, they're fairly obvious, but they, when it comes to like different characters that don't use their own skill cards, I will point that out. So in Charmy's case, this is an extremely accessible skill card. She uses Sister Lily's card, and it basically gives you more HP recovery, so that's why we usually recommend Sister Lily card. Charmy's own card is alright, but it really only increases her max HP, and this Charmy scales off of magic attack. So you're going to be building magic attack into her. So she's going to be a little bit of a squishy unit, but she's going to be the best healer. Now, next unit is going to be our girl Soul. Now, I've talked a lot about her in other videos, specifically the Mars video, and due to the fact that she is going to be your fill-in Mars before you get Mars. Now, I'd say I was running Soul for almost 3 months on Canadian version before I got Mars, because I actually did not get Mars until he had a raid up, and I picked Lotus off reroll, because you need to pick Lotus. Now, Soul is an extremely fun unit, actually. You're going to run her right alongside Charmy and Mono Blue. So, the card you can use with Soul is going to be Seke's card, which is going to give you defense percentage and max HP. You can run her card, but I wouldn't suggest it due to the fact that this is just going to help you more with the defense percent. Soul is a pretty simple character. You're going to build a shit ton of defense into her. That's how all defenders work. Now, her ult is going to reduce magic attack and get rid of barriers, which is extremely good because we like barrier cleansing. Her skill 2 is going to be a taunt and reduced attack. And then her basic attack is just going to be a taunt. So as per defender fashion, she's just going to be taunting a lot. And that's actually perfectly fine because you want her to be the one getting taunted, or getting taunts off so that they aren't attacking people like your girl Charmy over here. Now, right alongside Soul in the, I'd say, A tier of SRs, we have our boy Solid. Now, I personally despise Solid. He has a cocky attitude. I really don't like him, but despite all of that, extremely good blue unit. So, as I talked about in our free-to-play farming team, which you guys can go check that video out on my channel, we have Solid now. His ult's going to be giving an increased crit damage buff. That's basically how this is going to work. He's going to be giving a silence on skill 2. Silence means that the opponents cannot use their skill 2. It's not a total silence. Total silence means they cannot use anything outside of basic attack. His normal attack is going to give you increased crit damage, which is extremely well, and it's just going to be an overall good character. So there's nothing too complex about this character. He's going to be buffing a shit ton of his crit damage. The more buffs he has, the more he gets crit damage buff. And so, yeah, he's just going to be a self-inflicting buffer that's also an attacker. Extremely good though. I see him used a lot in free-to-play mono blue teams, as I mentioned in my other video, and I can't stress that enough. Now, the next unit we're going to be moving on to is our girl, Teresa, or Theresa? I think it's Teresa. Sister Teresa. But, so, she's an interesting unit. Now, to put this out there, she's an alright healer, but obviously you get a free red Mimosa, so we usually don't recommend using her, but she's extremely accessible. So her ult's going to give her HP recovery and poison removal. This is, you won't be seeing poison too often outside of like doing farming, and then later into the chapters you will start dealing with some poison DOT. This is alright, but it's nothing too crazy. As you can see, it grants a designated ally HP recovery, and it's going to grant all allies HP recovery. This is equal to 80%, so this is going to grant more to one person, but then also cover it all out. Her skill 2 is going to basically be a burn, which is actually alright, but as I stated in our SSR video, burn is kinda iffy. You know, if they maybe rework or buff burn, I can see her shooting up a little bit in tier, but outside of that, she's not going to be anything too crazy. And then you have her normal attack, which as per healer fashion is just going to give some HP recovery to whoever's lowest. Whoever's lowest, my bad. It's going to give HP recovery to whoever's taking continuous damage, or DOT basically. Duped, alright, not really too well. And now, our next unit is going to be someone that you also get free, and it's going to be our boy SR Uno. Now, SR Uno is alright. I think that he's nothing too wild. Fortunately, and I like Uno a lot, big Uno fan, but how he's basically going to work is that he's going to give Incapacitate, which increases the damage taken for his ult. He's going to give, his skill 2 is going to do reduced defense, and then his basic attack is going to be a single target. Now, what happens is that if you kill an enemy, then he will do an extra attack to all enemies. So you guys will see this in the tutorial of this game. This unit can be extremely well if needed to fill in. Nothing too crazy, but you know, if you put some investment into him, you'll see results with, you know, our boy. Now it's time to talk about the Syscon Gauche. Now, Gauche is an alright unit, as I mentioned. He's part of free-to-play Mono Blue, but his ult's going to be upon landing a crit, it will launch an extra attack that deals damage equal to 90% of attack and magic attack to an enemy. So this is going to be a single target attack. His skill 2 is going to be a single target as well, and if a buff is present on him, then he's going to attack another to an enemy. And then his skill 1 is also going to give extra attack if they have a buff, but also 50% chance. So, my bad. Mint buff here, and then just chance right here. So he's basically just going to be an extremely RNG character. He's extremely well, nonetheless. I see him used all the time in Mono Blue. If you don't have a good Mono Blue attacker, then he's actually going to fill out that slot pretty well, but I would put Solid over him due to the fact that Solid's just better at being a buffer and attacker. Now, there is one SR unit that I don't have that I'll very quickly go over, since I don't think he's available till the end of Season 1. Where's the glossary at? Here we go. So there's a single SR that's actually pretty good for PvE, and so this is going to be our boy Gipso, and so he's not going to come out till like the Kohano chapter, which is I think till chapter 6. So when you get to chapter 6 and they run those banners, you'll see Gipso appear in the SR pool. He's basically going to be one great boss killer. He's going to help you clear Hall of Illusions. He's also just going to help you clear bosses a lot more. As you can see, most of his kit is built around damage dealt on bosses and favor damage. Overall, extremely well SR. I can't show you too much more because I don't own the character yet, but he's going to be a pretty solid character when he comes out. Now, onto our next character, we got our boy Luck. Now, Luck, you get a free Luck. I'll put that out there, off rip. Luck is, I don't want to be rude to the Luck fans, but he's kind of mediocre. He's nothing too crazy. He's a blue attacker, defense penetration. This is the AoE. His skill 2 is gonna be a I don't know what the fuck we call this. It's basically gonna be AoE. I think it's like a two hit skill. So it hits 2 opponents. You can see by the fucking anagram. But you're gonna get Electrocute, which is DOT. And then his Thunder Fist, which is going to have extra attack on an enemy that's taking continuous damage, which is going to be coming from Electrocute. But that's all for more boy Luck. I wish he was better, but unfortunately he's kind of mid. Now our boy Magna, where's homeboy Magna at? Okay, Magna is going to be in the same spot as Teresa. He's going to be a burn unit. He's also going to be a stun unit for his skill 2. You'll be able to stun with his skill 2, you'll be able to burn with his ult and his skill 1. So here's the issue here, right? He has a alright kit for an SR, but the reason why he lacks is due to the fact that he is using burn, as you guys can see. And as we talked about for Teresa, he would be a lot better if burn was buffed. But you know, maybe one day they'll come out with like an SSR Magna, and then he's going to be irrelevant anyways. But outside of that, he's an alright unit. You get a free Magna, so that's alright, I guess. You at least don't gotta pull for him. I guess that's one upside to his kit. Now we got our boy Alidor. I really don't like talking about Alidor because I genuinely dislike this character. He's also extremely ass anyway, so Alidor is just going to be a AoE attack, and he has a chance to stun one enemy with his ult. His skill 2 is going to be a chance to also stun, and our skill 1 is going to be a weapon enhancement, which is basically just damage dealt if an enemy is hit with status elements, so something like stun or DOT. Nothing too crazy in his kit, kind of SR Mars. Well, my bad. More like SR ripoff Mars. Next we have our boy, where's he? Heath. Now, he's also kind of just horrendously bad. You can run him on Mono Blue if need be, but I already talked about so many other units that you should be running on Mono Blue, so he's just not worth it. Anyways, he's going to be giving Bleed, which is another DOT, as you guys can see. His skill 2 is going to Freeze, which is basically going to be the same as Stunning. And then his skill 1 is just going to give more Bleed. Now his dupe's useless, basically. He's just a debuffer. All I can say. Now, unfortunately, for our last SR and the worst in the entire game is going to be our boy Sheeran. Now, I actually like Sheeran. Unfortunately, he's worse than Alidor. I would prefer their placements to be swapped, but here we are. So, Sheeran's ult is going to be a AoE attack that stuns one enemy. His skill 2 is going to be AoE that recruits damage resistance to one enemy. And then his skill 1 is going to be a reduced defense attack. Now, unfortunately, as I stated, he's the worst SR in the game. He's so bad that our units are like right alongside him type bad. There's probably a single R unit in this bitch that's probably better than our boy here, unfortunately. Hi, post-editor Lota here. I forgot to give you guys the tier list because I was so tired when I was recording this video. As you guys can see on my screen, it's about 10:53 p.m. right now as I was recording and editing these videos. So I'm going to quickly show you guys what the tier lists look like. So for PvE, you're going to have Finral, Nebra, Asta, Mimosa, Noelle, Vanessa, Charmy, Soul, Solid, and everyone down here is kind of worthless outside of Gisso and Valtos. Everyone else here, kind of bad. And then for your PvP tier list, you're going to see Finral and Valtos at the top, like I stated. Vanessa used a little bit, and then everyone else you just aren't going to see in PvP, outside of maybe Soul being a fill-in Mars. But that's all the SRs in the game currently, and so that's all I can really talk about. Obviously, I will update this SR guide a little bit later when we have more SRs that come out in the future. But sorry for making y'all listen to me ramble. It's been a long 26 minutes. And outside of that, 3 more days till global. We drop a seasonal Mimosa guide tomorrow, so I hope you guys are excited for that. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace, everyone.